Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from Cool Cleveland. We are here in Chicago at AXPONA 2024, and we are here with the legendary Richard Vandersteen of Vandersteen Audio. Thank you so much, Richard, for taking a few moments.
Thank you, and it's good to see you.
It's good to see you again. We caught up with you in Cleveland Heights a few years ago. A real privilege to hear you set up an early version of your sevens in a real-life living room situation. Of course, we had about 150,000 people in that room because everybody wanted to come and hear what you had to say. And what an amazing event that I have to say. It was one of my groundbreaking, sort of eye-opening events, just to hear those speakers the way you want them set up. I'm just so honored to be talking with you here today. So thank you so much for taking a moment.
It's my pleasure, and those seminars are a lot of fun, introducing people to our work. And we're 46 years now, so and every year has been, it's just as joyful today as it was in the beginning. So yeah, it's great.
You can tell because you do bring this sort of iconoclastic joy to what you do. I love how you sort of go against the grain, right, with your design, with a lot of your research, and you come up with things that blow people away, even though I don't know how you do it time after time.
Well, I've always been the kind of guy in my life, in my hobbies, and in this which is now the way I make a living. It's I've never wanted to. I've always tried to do something that's never been done before because I'm really not. I'd like to find new ground and maybe make improvements and new discoveries. So that's the fun part.
How do you manage to do that? We were just talking on the way over, and how to approach talking with someone like yourself who comes up with the new innovation time and time again. How do you challenge yourself to rethink things and move into the next phase?
Well, I kind of isolate myself from what's out there, and always thinking outside of the box. I don't like being in the box, so it's just a constant thing because it's a lot more fun. You're breaking new ground. You're trying new things, and most of them fail. But every now and then, you discover something that's really interesting, and mankind lived a long time without the wheel. What's simpler than the wheel? Some of these concepts are not really that shattering, but they're very simple, but they end up being important.
Right. And those failures, those hundreds, thousands of little failures, we don't see those, right?
You don't see them. They wouldn't do well in the marketplace, One thing about it, dealers are ruthless. We still believe in selling our product through dealers, and they scrutinize what they sell. They're their customers' best advocates, and they're ruthless. If you've got something that's not right, they'll let you know, and you've got no sales.
So we get to see all your successes, all the things you finally came to after time and time again. We're in Ohio. We studied Thomas Edison, and we know to make those inventions, it takes a lot of failures. And you can't be afraid to fail, right? I mean, you must have some kind of constitution inside of you that says, I'm not going to be deterred here. I've been at this for weeks, months, and I'm still at it.
No, actually, the failures are what gives you the energy to keep going and find the successes. That's where the energy comes from. The impetus to just keep wanting to push the boundaries.
Right. Well, you've hit some peaks here. You have amplifiers. You've got your legendary speakers. You guys are launching a preamp here. Tell us about what you got coming here.
Yeah, we have a preamp here. It's debuting. It's called the L5 ACC Audio Control Center. It's a line stage only. And we're it's a solid state JFET design, and we're going to reintroduce on the remote control tone controls and some matrix stuff like the old surround sound stuff, all fully defeatable. The biggest button on the remote is direct, so if an audiophile gets nervous about messing with a signal, you can hit the direct button, and it's on the remote, so you can pop in and out of it. And you should take a picture of the
faceplate here.
Yeah, where is the remote? Here it is. The buttons tell the story. Right there.
Oh yeah, that is so cool.
You can see all the features that are on there, and
Yes.
it lights up because I'm old. And when it lights up, you can see on the audio control center that it's got letters large enough for old people to read. In case I don't have my glasses on, you can see the lettering there, how large it is. You can see that. You can see that from across the room.
Oh yeah.
And it goes away, the processor turns off, and the LEDs turn off 5 seconds after you make a change, because that does affect the sound, and that improves the sound.
Right. So talk to me about tone controls. This is a little side commentary we've been having with some of my audiophile friends, and why all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, over the years, nobody started offering this bass, mid-range treble control, which was so handy to tune your room. To, you know, you put a new source on a different record, it sounds a little different. Where's the bass? Well, turn the bass up a little. You know, why do we get away from that? And what made you want to come back to something like that?
Well, 50 plus years ago, they went away because the circuits at the time put all of those components in the signal path. So once they removed it, you had a better sounding preamp. In this case here, in order to use them, we use a set of relays to connect them across a part that has to be in the circuit to operate anyway. So the signal's not really going through these components. So you could remove that from that box and not improve the sound of it one iota. It's fully out when you're not using it. So they went away originally because it sounded better when you did. And today, with modern technology, there are ways to do it without affecting the sound in the direct mode. So,
Talk about the matrix button you have there as well. I remember back in the day we had one of the first 4-channel setups. I think it was from Lafayette, if you remember them.
Yep.
But it worked. They were SQ, there was matrix, there was a few different protocols. What's with your matrix button here?
This is no different than what there's been around for a long time. With it started with Dynaco doing some of this left-right stuff where you look for out-of-phase information and inject it in the opposite channel and play that kind of game. And on some recordings that tend to be a little dry, it can open them up and it can be fun. And if you don't like it, you just click it again and it goes away. And and there are 3 presets. So once you come up with a combination of this that you like for old rock and roll or classical or whatever, you can store that in there. Yeah. And then anytime you play something, I said, I think I'd like to do that. You just hit that preset and you don't have to go through the, anyway, pretty. I've been using it at home for about 3 years, and my wife says, how do we live without that?
Exactly.
So I'm excited about it.
And you don't need an app then to run this. It doesn't run off an app, or do you have an app as well?
No, this is the control.
Yeah, that's your controller,
Yeah.
right? So it's very handy. Keep that by you. You can control everything from there. I love the presets. Like you said, you might say, well, I like one for vinyl, a different one for streaming or whatever you have, right?
That's exactly what it is. You can set them, and they're easy to change if you change your mind or whatever. But there's 3 of them, and you set them up for what you. After a while, you kind of get a sequence that you can listen to a new piece of music, and you know that needs this. Yeah. And after a while, you discover that they're big jumps. They're not veneered or real fine adjustments on the bass. It's designed to be a quick thing. We don't want to get neurotic about this and lose sight of the music. Yeah, right. So it's a quick in and out. That's good and done, and on with the music.
Right.
Yeah.
So cool. Have you considered any tubes in your systems, or is that not a direction you believe in?
Well, our larger M7 amplifier that's designed to go with our Model 7s does use tubes on the front end. And at a later date, there will be a companion preamp line stage like this, the exact same circuit, but it'll be all tube. And of course, more money. But this one is the first companion to go with our little M5 amplifier monoblocks that we're using here today.
Right. So cool. I got to ask the question: where are you headed next? Where's your brain? What failures are you looking to get behind you and move on to your next big success?
Well, we want to get this production in, get it in the pipeline, and get the. There's a big demand already. Get that handled, and then work on the bigger one, the all tube version.
Yeah.
And I'm playing with a few other things, but it's too early to talk about.
Okay.
Maybe a bigger speaker than the 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bigger and better, no doubt.
Yeah, and better.
Richard, thank you so much for your generosity, and thank you for what you've given to this industry. You've just inspired so many people, and you've given so much pleasure. I just want to thank you personally. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, and hey, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from Cool Cleveland. We're here at AXPONA 2024.